Hey there, Tiktakers! Regardless of our religion or beliefs, the story of Christ is well known throughout the world. If we ask anyone, how did Jesus Christ die? He will quickly tell us, crucified. But what were those executions really like in his time? Today, we contrast information from historians and sacred scriptures to better understand the torture of Christ. According to those who rely on the Gospels and apocryphal texts, as well as on the marks of the shroud, they report that approximately 1 day elapsed from the arrest of Jesus on the Mount of Olives until his death. It is said that other crucified people lived longer, and that his early death was due to the intensity of the previous torture to which he was subjected. Some historians reject the version of the crown that we are used to seeing in representations of Jesus, and point out that for the legends that appear on the shroud to occur, it would have to be shaped like a helmet and not a hoop. The Romans had placed it on his head with the aim of mocking him for being the King of the Jews. He was flogged with a short whip. At that time, they used ones with several strips that had lead balls or pieces of bone at the tip. The blows with it cut the skin, exposing the veins, tendons, and muscles. When Jesus arrived at Mount Calvary, the place where he would be crucified, it is said that he had several fractured ribs and his right shoulder was skinned by the weight of the patibulum, which was the horizontal woods of the cross, because the large part remained nailed to the ground and waiting for the victim. The Christian conception of Jesus carrying the entire cross on his shoulders was dismissed by most historians, because it would have weighed around 100 kilograms, making it impossible for a weakened man to carry it. Some hypotheses even mention that Jesus could have been fixed to a tree due to a shortage of wood. His knees were destroyed by the multiple falls on the way, in which he was constantly stoned, insulted, and spat on. Once he reached the mountain, before being hung on the cross, he was brutally thrown to the ground, and his hands were pierced with nails. As for his feet, both were pierced at the height of the instep with a single point. There are contrary opinions as to whether the nails went through the palms of the hands or not. In view of this, several researchers affirm that they were driven into the wrists, because otherwise the hands would tear with the weight of the body. Regarding the tips of the feet, some researchers contradict the established history and believe that they were fixed one next to the other with 2 nails. Why is death produced in addition to the obvious bleeding in the crucifixion? The cramps atrophy the muscles in that position, hastening death from lack of air and extreme pain throughout the body. However, some doctors, after conducting studies, declare that Jesus could have died with a myocardial infarction as a consequence of the effort and pain. In addition, some of these historians also maintain, contrary to the Bible, that the majority of those crucified on the mountain remained on the cross, and given the impossibility of moving, the birds ate their eyes, nose, and cheek, with the body still alive. After several days hanging, the meat began to rot, it fell off, and other animals such as dogs and cats took advantage of these remains. What do you think about the investigations that yielded these new data? Do you prefer these versions or those on the sacred scriptures? Whether it happened or not, what is known is that crucifixion torture has been widely practiced, being one of the most terrible in history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!